Time. Hope everyone's enjoying their Tuesday as well. But yeah, listen, I thought I'd do a bit of a different one today. I think it's fascinating, to be fair, the fact that you got Champions League, obviously today and tomorrow, and you know what's funny? Yeah, it's a thing where obviously it's one of them things where you're coming to grips with it now that Champions League no longer has the likes of Messi and Ronaldo. Two guys that in particular were dominating the Champions League in terms of winning it, in terms of the numbers, etc. And obviously their teams were always the teams that will look that will get into the latter stages of the competition. So I think it's definitely as we know anyway, it's a new era now where we're not really going to see players of that level, in my opinion, consistently getting numbers or helping their team win Champions Leagues. I think it's going to be a bit different, in my opinion. So I thought, let me just do a Messi versus Ronaldo comparison. Again, I'm someone that is not really massive into stats because I think, the eye test for me always works. I think you should always look at a player and rather than looking at the numbers, look at what the qualities of the players are. I think numbers for me should always be used as a bonus. I'm never gonna stop. I'm never gonna change my opinion in terms of I much prefer performances over numbers. And I think when you're looking at the likes of Messi and Ronaldo, I think the biggest conversation with people with why people might say one is better than the other, more Ronaldo in that sense. I think with Ronaldo, he only comes down to numbers, really, realistically. Obviously, I'm a massive fan of Ronaldo's career. I watched Ronaldo from young when he first come to Manchester United as a skinny winger, from Sporting Lisbon. So I've seen Ronaldo's whole career, and again, the player that he's become now, did I see his trajectory in that sense? I have to be honest, I didn't. I thought he was a talented player. I remember Man United playing Sporting Lisbon in the preseason friendly, and he absolutely destroyed John O'Shea. I remember that game, and then obviously from that, that's when United signed him. That's when United signed him from that game. But then him coming to United, I think he was a sort of a different winger to what the league was used to seeing. And I think at Man United, as we know, he was one of them players that would get you on the edge of his seat. But there was one season that he come back, and again, if you're a Man United fan and you've been watching Ronaldo for any amount of time, you definitely see this. And for me, I remember the first game of the season. I think it might have been Fulham. I think he actually scored, and you can see the physique on Ronaldo, and in terms of how much he's gone from that skinny winger to an absolute beast of a player in a sense, And again, that was the work that Ronaldo put into his game, and obviously, as you can see, the career he's had. The guy is almost 40, and he's still going strong. So, yeah, listen, Ronaldo's in terms of what Ronaldo's done throughout his career, man, it cannot be argued. I think this is a conversation which is subjective. You're gonna have people that rate Ronaldo over Messi. You're gonna have people like myself that rate Messi over Ronaldo. Big up to United fan. Big up. I'm all good, man. So yeah, it's very subjective, and I like these kind of debates because it lets me know where people stand in this debate with Messi and Ronaldo. Because again, my reasons for saying Messi's the GOAT in terms of him and Ronaldo is purely because of the football player. If you look at Messi, for instance, Messi was a defining player for Barcelona. Messi arguably, you know, in terms of how Barcelona played, with under Pep Guardiola, he was fundamental in the system. He's one of the first players that I've actually seen play as a false nine. I don't think there was any other team that started off that false nine, obviously with Pep playing Messi there. Because you think of David Villa, who's one of my favourite players coming through as well. David Villa was actually a striker, but played from the left, so Messi could play the false nine. And then you had Pedro, obviously, on the right-hand side. So in terms of Messi's influence on a system, and the fact that he was a massive difference maker for his team, Not to mention, he was technically better than Ronaldo. Um, he was more creative as well. He had better numbers than Ronaldo as well, which again, many people use the argument that Ronaldo has scored more goals, etc. But if we're combining goals and assists, Messi has more goals and assists than Ronaldo. And I think again, it's very subjective, this debate, which, as I said, I do enjoy. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put it on the screen now, guys, before we carry on. So we're gonna start a little poll. So I want to see where the chat is on this one. So who is the GOAT? Spare me 1 minute. So yeah, let's get this poll started. So guys, make sure you're voting. So who is the GOAT between? Let's put that right there. One sec. Okay, so who is the GOAT, Messi or Ronaldo? So make sure you're voting, guys, because again, I can see this being very subjective, very. And again, let me know in the chat, yeah, why you think that certain player is the GOAT. Big up to all the mods coming on as well. So Ronaldo has carried a whole generation on his back. Kids love him and they get into football because of him. Do I agree to that? I think, you know what, there is some kind of truth to that. I wouldn't literally say it's because I think if you're looking at Ronaldo as a whole, yeah, he's very marketable, globally, he's one of the most known players probably ever. Yeah. So again, kids love him because of his marketability, Not to mention, obviously, he's hugely successful as well on the pitch. So I think if we're looking at globally, probably you would say Ronaldo is the most influential in that sense. But if we're looking from a purely footballing aesthetics, like Messi for me is by far the better player. By far the better player. And again, that is no criticism on Ronaldo, because Ronaldo, I think what it is with Ronaldo, he appeals to the average fan in terms of, you know, if you work so hard, you can reach a level. And to an extent, I get that. I think if you look at the majority of football players, all the top players, they have all put, a certain amount of work to get to the level that they've got to. But I think a lot of fans are in love with Ronaldo, not because they truly think he's the best player, if we're looking at it from a technical aesthetics, but I think it's more to do with, you know, I think people in general love a tryhard. And as you can see, the amount of work Ronaldo's put into his game, it's more reminiscent, or it's more relatable to a lot of people, And again, to a point, I get that. But just from the pure football player, there's no argument against Messi for me, because as I said, Messi's just more than, like, Messi's not even someone that is defined by goals. Because I think the only people that will say that Ronaldo's better than Messi is probably due to numbers, because I'll be very interested to see what the defense would be for saying Ronaldo is better than Messi. Obviously at the moment we're seeing 67% say Ronaldo, 33% say Messi. And again, the thing is, everyone's entitled to their opinion. It's what it's about, and it's a good debate. But when people say Ronaldo is way better, like, what? Why is he way better? Because I think sometimes people just say words, but why is he? So I'm just seeing a MNL edit says Ronaldo is way better, but what is he way better at? That's what I'd like to know, because the usual argument is he's done it in different leagues. Yeah. So why is he way better? You know what I mean? It just doesn't. It's just a comment, really. Let's let's narrow down why people think Ronaldo is way better. Because as I said, there will never be another player like Cristiano. But again, there'll never be another player like Messi. So, like, where are we going with this? And again, it's a good debate, but let me know why you think Ronaldo's better, guys, or why you think Messi's better. Because Messi's more technical, he's a better passer. Um, he shows up more in the bigger games. He's won more trophies. He's got better numbers than Ronaldo in terms of goals and assists combined. And again, we'll go through them in a bit. Messi's a better dribbler. He's got a better touch. Like the only thing I would say Ronaldo has over Messi, and again, these things are not really groundbreaking stuff because Ronaldo's 6 foot, yeah. So Ronaldo's better in the air, which he should be. Um, and as I said, it's one of them things where so Ronaldo has scored more goals, and there you have it, guys. There you have it. And this is what I'm trying to say to you, yeah. This level of conversation, it needs to be higher than that because for someone to say Ronaldo's better than Messi because he scored more goals, again, it just shows you that there's a lack of what's the word? There's a lack of kind of conversation to have in from some people because if you think it's enough to just say Ronaldo scored more goals than Messi as to say why he's better, then it's low level really of conversation, which I like to have conversations which are more than that. Because again, if we really want to delve deeper into this conversation about Messi and Ronaldo, ask yourself why it is that Ronaldo has scored more goals. Yeah, because again, if you want to combine goals and assists, because Messi first and foremost is a creator. The goals just came with Messi because he's just that good. But Messi was never a goal scorer first. He was a creator first. Yeah. Now, if you look at Ronaldo, for Ronaldo to stay relevant with Messi, because Ronaldo has never been someone that, if you look at his earlier days at Manchester United, he was an out and out winger and then obviously transformed himself to being a goal scorer. Yeah. Now, if you look at when Ronaldo went to Real Madrid, yeah, and people can deny this all they want, but for Ronaldo to stay relevant with Messi, it was to do with numbers. So again, people only say Ronaldo really because of numbers. But if I was to tell you the numbers in total, which I've noted a few down, yeah. If you want to say head to head Messi and Ronaldo, yeah. Again, people tell you Ronaldo scored more goals, yeah. Head to head, Messi versus Ronaldo. Ronaldo 21 goals, 1 assist. Messi 22 goals, 12 assists. So again, yeah, this is what I'm trying to say to you. Like these things are interesting because I think people just get wrapped up in the whole Ronaldo scores more goals than Messi. Yeah. But when you actually check it head to head, yeah, Messi's got one more goal than Ronaldo, and he's got 11 more assists than him. And the thing is, what people need to realize, Messi is a creator first. Messi's first fault isn't to score, but he's that good. He can score and create. Ronaldo, when he was competing with Messi, when obviously one was at Real Madrid, one was at Barcelona, for him to stay relevant with Messi, to keep up with Messi, it meant that goals was what Ronaldo had to get. Yeah. So again, Ronaldo has 900 goals, bruv. Yeah. So this is what I'm trying to say to you. The fact that you keep mentioning goals, it just shows you really that that's the only thing you're hanging on to. And again, guys, I'm going to go on to it again. So when we're looking at combined, yeah, goals and assists, yeah. So Ronaldo, 1,208 in 1,292 appearances. Leo Messi, 1,288 in 1,130 appearances. So again, when we're talking about numbers, Messi beats him for numbers. He beats him for numbers. People that keep saying Ronaldo has 900 goals, you have to realize Messi was a creator first and foremost. So when you're comparing Ronaldo, that literally, if you look at I'll say the last 10 years of his career, it was more about him getting the numbers to keep relevant, because as we know as well with the Ballon d'Or is based on what you're winning and your numbers. Yeah, that's a fact. So Ronaldo obviously identified the fact that he needed to get numbers, but you can't really compare Messi and Ronaldo. For me, you can't compare them as players, because there's one that's a God-given talent, and there's one that is, a machine in terms of the work he's put into the game. But when you're looking at the number side of it, yeah, you can't look at Ronaldo and say he's got better numbers than Messi, because he hasn't. He hasn't. 1,288, which is goals and assists combined, to Ronaldo's 1,208 in 1,292 appearances. So again, yeah, it's one of them things where this debate goes on forever. It goes on forever. But again, I ask you, what is Ronaldo better than Messi at from a footballing standpoint? If you're putting trophies to the side, yeah, because we can talk about trophies, because again, Messi's won every trophy there is to win. Ronaldo hasn't, But if we're putting trophies to the side and you put goals to the side, what is it that Ronaldo has over Messi? If you're a Ronaldo fan, I would like to know this. Nobody can say Ronaldo was a better player than Messi. Watching Messi felt similar to watching R9 and Ronaldinho. Really felt like you were watching generational talent. And you know what, Fitz? That's a big up for the comment, because this is the problem, yeah? If anyone's watched Ronaldinho, you would never say Cristiano Ronaldo is a better player than Ronaldinho. But people would say he is. And that's only because of goals. And this is where goals have destroyed football, because you're getting people now talking up certain players because they get more goals. Not to mention that you're comparing someone that was goal hungry to players that were creators first. People would probably say to you, Cristiano Ronaldo was a better player than Zidane because of goals. Because if you're comparing the actual footballer, you're not going to make that stupid comment. So again, football's just very you can't. These conversations go on forever, because people are not going to concede if you're a Messi fan or if you're a Ronaldo fan. But I look at it purely from a footballing standpoint. If you're looking at careers in terms of the careers they've had, then again, Ronaldo's going to be up there, no doubt, because the career he's had in football, in terms of trophies, in terms of longevity, all these other things, he's going to be up there. But if we're looking at it purely from a footballing aesthetics, like Ronaldo wouldn't be in my top 10 if I'm looking at from purely footballing aesthetics. Messi, Ronaldinho, Iniesta, these guys are in there easily. Zidane, these guys are in there ahead of Ronaldo. But the only thing with people will say about Ronaldo is the fact that Ronaldo has got 900 goals. And as I said before, people that think that, it's a low level of conversation, because if you're just going to live by the fact that Ronaldo's got 900 goals and you think he's better, then it's not really a conversation. So Nick says Messi has more Ballon d'Ors. Again, I mean, the Ballon d'Or can be put down to popularity. Messi for me, because going back to the Ballon d'Or should always be awarded to the best player. It's always should be given to the best player in the world. I think the Ballon d'Or throughout the years has been given to popularity. It's a popularity contest now, because Messi and Ronaldo dominated it for so many years. Obviously, Messi because of the numbers and what they were winning, and purely the best player. Ronaldo was in the conversation because of popularity, because of goals, because of trophies. Obviously, more Champions League. So this is where it is. Like if you put Messi, Neymar, and Ronaldo in there, and you're disregarding the goals, then it's Messi and Neymar 1 and 2. If you're disregarding the goals, because it's about the best player. Ronaldo was relevant in the conversation because of numbers. I'd argue that with anyone. And again, Messi's won a world. So Messi's completed football. He's won the World Cup. He's won Champions League. He's won La Liga. He's won everything. Ballon d'Ors. Yeah. There's not a thing he hasn't won. Whether it Copa Americas, whether it's come to club wise or international. The argument that people will say about Messi is, you know, he stayed in one league. Well, even though he went to PSG as well. But when you're at the best club in the world at the time in Barcelona, why do you need to leave them? You don't need to leave them. Like, people make this argument to say that Ronaldo's gone to Italy, he's gone to obviously Man United, and he's gone to Spain, and he's won trophies there, which is all well and good. But Messi was at Barcelona. Barcelona was perfect for Messi. Everything was there set up for him to get the best from him. So why would he leave when he's getting paid well, when he's at the best club? Everything is there for him to succeed. So that conversation saying Ronaldo's done it in multiple leagues and Messi hasn't, Messi doesn't need to leave Barcelona because he's got everything that was there for him. So that's the argument that a lot of people would use as well. Gav, who would you pick to take a winning penalty in a Champions League final? Cristiano or Lionel? I'd pick Harry Kane. I'd pick Harry Kane. But again, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? Because it's just it's a question really that, like, why, like, who cares about that really when you think about it? Who would I pick to take a Champions League final penalty? I'd pick Messi. But I think the fact that you're asking that question is because I know you want to pick Ronaldo, but that's just a question really that it doesn't really have any relevance because you have to look at the form of the players in that final. Ronaldo could be stinking the place out, low on confidence, and then has a penalty. Who's to say he's going to score it? So again, these things are just questions for questions' sake, in my opinion. But yeah, like it doesn't make because that's like saying, who would you pick to take a free kick in the final? 10 yards out, Messi or Ronaldo? I know who I'm picking. I'm picking Messi because Messi's got a better record from free kicks. So again, it's a bit of a silly question, that one, but if it's a numbers game, trophies have to count more than goals anyway. But again, this is the thing, yeah? If it's a numbers game, Messi's got better numbers. I just read it out to you. He's got better numbers. If it's trophies, Messi's got more trophies. So where are we going with this? Like, it's again, it's a great conversation, but it doesn't really matter what angle you want to go at because the numbers, if we're looking at goals and assists, Messi has more goals and assists than Ronaldo. He does. The facts are there. Go and check it. If you're looking at trophies, Messi's won more trophies. So, and if you're looking at the football player, Messi's a better football player. And again, that's nothing on Ronaldo because Ronaldo's had a career that many players would love to have. But people that say Ronaldo's better than Messi, I still haven't been told why you think he's better. All we've been told really is goals. And this is this is where football's gone. People just care about numbers, goals. Ronaldo has scored more goals than Messi. But what you need to realize is that Messi is a creator first that scores goals. And if you're combining the goals and the assists together, Messi's got more goals and assists combined than Ronaldo. So, guys, at the moment, there's 14 votes and it's 50-50. Again, this is an uncomfortable conversation for some people because I think a lot of people just want to come in there and just say Ronaldo without having any basis to it. And as I said, it's very low level in terms of how people look at football. On this channel, you're going to get good debate, man. So, again, let me know why you think Ronaldo's better or why you think Messi's better. Let me know. So, Ronaldinho is the most skillful player on the pitch. Listen, Ronaldinho is a better player than Ronaldo. He is. He is a better player. But again, people are not going to want to have the conversation because it's about numbers for them. And numbers is the only thing that keeps Ronaldo in conversations with the absolute greats. That's the truth. That is the truth. And that's not taking nothing away from Ronaldo, yeah? But whenever people talk about Ronaldo and you mention him against Ronaldinho, Messi, Neymar, Zidane, all the greats of the game, the first thing people go to is numbers. And that means they've lost the argument, because you can't use numbers for a guy that was hell-bent on getting numbers for other guys that are creators first, you know? Honestly, the most hurt fan base because of the immature fans and kids are true Ronaldo fans who really watch football. Big up to edits by a Sapien. Do you know what? That's one of the best comments I've seen in this debate, because this is purely what it is. And I'm a Manchester United fan, yeah, and it's not about bias for me, because I could be biased and say Ronaldo, but it's about having proper conversations. So you're right what you're saying. The only fans that will back Ronaldo are kids or fans that don't want to go against, a legend of the game and a legend of the club. That is the only reason. But if you're someone that loves football, yeah, and you've been watching football for years, you don't make stupid comments by saying Ronaldo's better because he's got goals. Like, you just don't do that. And yeah, great comment, man, because that is the problem. That is the problem. Again, you're free to your opinion, but let's have a bit more conversation in things like this. So, guys, 15 votes, 53% say Ronaldo, 47% say Messi. So it's close, Again, I've not voted because I can't. But if I put my vote in now, it's 50-50. So, guys, there's 20 of you. Make sure you get voting. So who is the GOAT? Messi or Ronaldo? And again, make sure you put it in the comments as to why you think that as well. So you can't compare a mid and a striker, mate. So again, the problem is, yeah, MNL edits, you're saying that, yeah, but then you're the same player that would say, so if you can't compare a midfielder and a striker, it's not comparing, yeah. But what the point I'm trying to make to you is that if you was to say who's better, Ronaldinho or Ronaldo, Ronaldo fans would say Ronaldo. But you're not saying that because you truly think he's a better footballer than Ronaldinho. You'd only point to the fact that he's got goals. That is it. But Ronaldinho was a creator first. Ronaldo is hell-bent on goals. So if you're just going to focus on the fact that Ronaldo's got more goals, why don't we focus on the fact that, who's a more technical player? Why not focus on something that might be in favor of Ronaldinho? Because I think the goals argument is only in favor of Ronaldo to keep him relevant in the conversation. That is the truth. So again, when you're saying you can't compare a midfielder and a striker, I agree. But that's why you can't compare Ronaldo getting more goals than Messi, because Messi isn't defined by goals. Messi is a pure footballer. Messi gets goals and assists. Ronaldo really is defined by goals. So that's the thing. 50-50 at the moment, 16 votes. Big up. So Ballon d'Or lost credibility when Nedved took it over Henry. You know what? Yeah, I'll be honest. Yeah, Nedved was a top player. And for me, Henry definitely should have won a Ballon d'Or because, as a Man United fan, obviously the rivalry against Arsenal, I was genuinely worried, yeah, when Man United played Arsenal, because when Henry wanted to, Henry can just turn the game on its head. He was that devastating. And there's no doubt he should have won a Ballon d'Or in his career being at Arsenal. There's no doubt. I mean, I'm happy because, Arsenal haven't got a player that's ever won the Ballon d'Or. United have. But I have to be honest, man. There's no way Henry shouldn't have won a Ballon d'Or because he was devastating at Arsenal. And when Nedved took it, Nedved was a top player. But I think if we're being honest, Nedved was fortunate to win it above Henry, in my opinion. But that's not taking anything away from Nedved because Nedved was good. But Henry definitely should have won, man. 100%. Yeah, listen, Ronaldo's online presence, you think of his social media, etc. this is why Ronaldo has the fans, because again, it's more than football with Ronaldo. It's marketability. You know, if you look at Ronaldo's image, you know, the physique, etc. These are the things that kids or, you know, Ronaldo fans are in love with. You know, this is the thing. It's marketability. You know, he's got a global reach. Whereas you look at Messi, for instance, you know, Messi's got a global reach because of his football. Like Messi hasn't got a global reach because of his image. Like let's face it. So you're looking at someone that's got a global reach because of image versus a global reach against someone has a global reach because of a footballer. So this is the thing. When you look at when you compare both players, yeah, people would look at Messi um, because they're in love with how good of a footballer he is. People are in love with Ronaldo because of the image, not so much the football. You know, that's an interesting conversation to have, but I guarantee you, people look more at Ronaldo because of the whole package in terms of the image rather than the footballer himself. Messi is just because he's a great footballer. And this is what the conversation is about, the pure footballer. You know, again, this is a conversation not for everyone because sometimes these conversations go over people's head. And again, so why didn't Messi win PSG a Champions League? They had the best team in the world then. And again, you know, these conversations here are not as simple as that, because that's like saying, why didn't Ronaldo win Juventus the Champions League? Like, it makes no sense, yeah? The thing is, there's such thing as balance, yeah? If you look at that PSG team, on paper, when you've got Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar, it looks frightening on paper. But football's not played on paper, you know? So if you look at the fact that with in Liga, they were always going to dominate Liga because you've got three of the best players in the world. And, you know, notoriously in that league, you're not playing up against the strongest teams. In the Champions League, you're playing against the best of the best that other countries have to offer. So I said this plenty of times. When PSG come up against the best teams, they're going to struggle. And purely because you've got Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe, who in their own right are three superstars. And you're going to have three players that are always going to be behind the ball, which means it's going to put too much pressure onto the midfield to try and contain the opposition. You know? So again, it's not as simple as saying, why didn't Messi win PSG a Champions League? Football's not like that. Football's not played like that. You know? Why have PSG won a Champions League now? Because of the balance. Look at the balance of the midfield three in Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz, and João Neves. And then look at the balance of the front three when you've got adaptable front three in Ousmane Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, Doué, or Barcola. So again, football's about balance. It's not about because Messi's the best player, he's just going to rock up to PSG with an imbalanced team and win the Champions League. That's not how it works. You know. So again, let's be a bit more open-minded and intelligent when we're coming out with things like this, because that's not how football is. So so Ronaldo is not the best goal scorer either, because Messi's goal per game ratio is better. Yeah, listen, I believe it is. I mean, I've not checked it, but it possibly is. But again, we should never be looking at Ronaldo being better than Messi as the better goal scorer, because I keep saying to you guys, Messi is a creator first that scores goals. You know what I mean? So you can't compare someone that was hell-bent on scoring goals to someone that's a creator first. You can't do that. If you want to compare Ronaldo's goals, go and compare his goals to someone like Erling Haaland, because Erling Haaland is a striker that is hell-bent on scoring goals. You know, and I do believe Erling Haaland will possibly surpass Ronaldo's total of goals. I do believe that. The way that Haaland's going at the moment, he will surpass that. You know, but is that to say Haaland's a better player than Ronaldo? You know what I mean? Again, Ronaldo's really a winger. He's not. Ronaldo's just transformed himself into I wouldn't even say a striker. He's more of a forward now. Well, he was a forward. He was a winger before when he first come to United, then became a forward. But now he's a central. You could say striker, or poacher. But again, if you want to compare goals, you compare goals to someone that is goal hungry, like an Erling Haaland now, you know. But you don't compare him to Messi because, as I said, Messi was a creator first, and it just shows if you look at goals and assists combined, Messi's got better numbers than him. No one can argue that. So yeah, guys, make sure you're voting as well. We got 19 votes. 53% say Ronaldo. 47% say Messi. So make sure you're voting. So it's a head versus heart question for me. I know Messi is the true GOAT of that generation, but I love Ronaldo because I watched him develop and supported that entire way through his career. So yeah, but again, I watched Ronaldo when he was at Sporting Lisbon. I watched him when he first made his debut for Man United against Bolton Wanderers in the Premier League. So I've seen Ronaldo's whole career. You know what I mean? I've seen his whole career. A lot of fans that like Ronaldo haven't seen Ronaldo's whole career. They're just in love with the marketability and what they've been told. But I've seen his whole career. So I'm someone that is best placed to judge Ronaldo because I watched his whole career. I did. So when I'm saying that Messi's a better player than Ronaldo, I truly mean it. You know, and I'm a Man United fan. I truly mean it because, as I said, it's not about numbers. It should never be about numbers. It's about the actual footballer. And as great as a career as Ronaldo has had, you know, as I said, many people would love to have the career Ronaldo's had. He's not a better footballer than Messi. He's not for so many reasons, you know. And again, I'm yet to see anyone say to me why they think Ronaldo's better. No one's actually told me. So this is the problem. 50-50, guys, 20 votes. So I love football. I would admit, as a United fan, I love Cristiano, but Messi is a better footballer. But this is the conversation. This is why I said, who has had the bigger influence? You know, is it influence over the footballer or is it influencer over globally? And I think this is where the conversation is good because if we're looking at the footballer in terms of influential footballer, it's Messi. If we're looking at globally in terms of marketability, in terms of the hard work, etc., it's Ronaldo. But the conversation and the where how I see football, it's about the footballer. Because as I said to you before, if we're looking at footballers, Ronaldo doesn't make the top 10 for me. He doesn't. And again, it's an uncomfortable conversation to say that for people, not for me. Because I can name you 10 better footballers than Ronaldo, easily. As a footballer. Not numbers, nothing to do with that. As a footballer. You know? So Ronaldo Biasoni says, Cristiano was insane, but if you think he's better than Messi, you don't understand the sport. But again, I don't think you understand the sport because you just come in there saying he's insane, but you haven't told me why he's better. So again, you're just doing what the majority of people do. You're just saying he's better, or you're just saying if I think Messi's better, I don't understand the sport. Again, you're not explaining why you think he's better. All you're doing is using words. So really, that sums up, the lack of understanding from yourself, because you can't actually say to me why you think he's better. Tell me why you think he's better. I'm ready for the conversation. Like, it is what it is, man. Like, if you think Ronaldo's better, again, that's your opinion. But when you're saying stuff like, if you think he's better, then you don't understand the sport. I don't think you understand the sport because you're not even telling me why you think he's better. You're just using words that anyone can do. So Ronaldo speaks English. That goes a long way. Yeah. Big up to CLYV Tanaka says, CR7 is dangerous in the penalty box. Messi is dangerous anywhere in the pitch. Comment from Rodri. There you go. There you go. Are we going to say Rodri's wrong? Are we going to say he's wrong? Yeah, all right, listen, big up to Edits at Sapien. Yeah. Listen, Messi in that false nine role when he had Pedro one side and David Villa the other side. Yeah. People are actually forgetting, yeah. This is a guy that's not even a goal scorer, first and foremost. This is a guy that scored 91 goals in a calendar year. I don't think people realize how insane that is. 91 goals in a calendar year. That's what Messi did. And this is a guy that doesn't live by goals. So Ronaldo could never do that. Never do that. You know? Erling Haaland, I don't think could ever do that. As good as a goal scorer that Haaland is. To get 91 goals in a calendar year is insane. And let's not forget, Messi is not a poacher. You know what I mean? This is a guy that is a creator first. And he got 91 goals in a calendar year and probably hit about 20 or 30 assists with that, maybe more. So that's a guy that got over 100 GA in a calendar year. And you're telling me that Ronaldo's better. And again, it's not even about numbers because as the footballer, just watching both players with your eyes, you will know that Messi's better anyway. But those numbers, insane. Insane numbers. Yeah, listen, PR is what keeps the debate going for a lot of players. Jude Bellingham comes to mind. He comes to mind. PR is a thing in football. When I was growing up watching football, there was nothing about PR. We just knew who the best players was because we just watched it with our own eyes. But football now is about PR, like it is, whether people like it or not. But I'm never going to be swayed by anyone to try and tell me that certain players are good or not. There was someone that said Jude Bellingham was better than David Beckham. Tell me that this guy has never seen football. For a fact, you can't compare the two players anyway. But for someone to say that Bellingham's better than Beckham, it just shows you where football's gone now. Football's at an all-time low, man. It's in the gutter because those kind of comments there, it just shows me you don't understand the game. So, yeah, I remember someone saying that. Crazy. So, what makes a player better according to you? So, what makes a player better? Well, first and foremost, the influence you have on your team, in terms of winning trophies. If you're a massive influence in your team, notoriously, you win trophies. I look at the reason I like Messi is because Messi is probably the best passer in the world in his prime. Still now. The guy got the most assists, really. If you look at the stats, he got the most assists. He was always top scoring as well, even though he's not a goal scorer first. He was instrumental in his teams winning the big trophies. Look at for Argentina, instrumental in them winning the World Cup. So again, when I look at numbers, I look at numbers as a bonus. Numbers should only be used as a bonus in terms of players. But when people's first thought is to look at a player and say he's better because of numbers, it usually means you've lost the argument because numbers should never be defined for a player. Even though Messi's numbers are better. But to say Ronaldo's got more goals, well, again, Ronaldo was hell-bent on scoring goals. Messi wasn't that. But I say it again. The fact that Messi got 91 goals in a calendar year and he's not even a striker, he played as a false nine and doesn't his first fault isn't to get goals, just shows you how good he is. You know what I mean? So that's where it's at, man. As United fans, we can remember a lot of frustrating games. I don't remember hearing the same from Barca fans. Yeah, but again, his consistency was mad as well. His level of quality was mad. But again, Messi. Yeah. Well, I say it's a debate that's never really gonna go away. But again, if you're someone that really loves football, then yeah, it's one of them things, man. You don't make the stupid mistake in saying Ronaldo's better than Messi, in my opinion. Even though at the moment we've got 23 votes and Ronaldo 57, Messi's 43. Again, I reckon a lot of them Ronaldo votes are coming from what someone else in the channel said earlier. probably kids or Man United fans. Because if you're a neutral fan, you can't really be telling me that Ronaldo's a better player, footballer than Messi. I wouldn't take it seriously. But again, it's opinion at the end of the day. So the De Bruyne can go against Messi in passing in both their primes. But again, Paul Pogba's a better passer than De Bruyne. So why De Bruyne? I think what the problem is, yeah, is that, and again, I'm not taking nothing away from De Bruyne, yeah, because De Bruyne in his prime in the Premier League was very good. Like, I'm not taking nothing away from De Bruyne, but what I would implore people to do is to stop listening to the media and stop listening to pundits and just form your own opinion, because De Bruyne was a good passer, but people go on as if De Bruyne is the best passer they've ever seen. Paul Pogba could pass off both feet, equally as good, or if not better. But because Paul Pogba is hated in this country by the media and by the pundits, people just disregard Paul Pogba. This is the problem. So to say that De Bruyne can go against Messi in passing, so can Andrea Pirlo, so can Paul Pogba. You know what I mean? So can a lot of other players. But why is it De Bruyne that's being mentioned? Like, again, a lot of this is just is driven by the media and driven by pundits. And I implore people to have your own mind, man. I miss the old school midfielder, Xavi, Pirlo, Xabi Alonso. Yeah, listen, man. Again, these guys never had pace. So these guys probably won't be rated as highly. Right, guys, come on. 24 votes. 42% Messi, 58% Ronaldo. Again, I'm still waiting for someone to tell me, what does Ronaldo do better than Messi at in terms from a footballing standpoint? And that just tells you your argument right there. People have their votes but can't explain why they think he's better. You know what I mean? This is why I like these conversations, because, again, these conversations are not for everyone. Because I think there's too many people out there that just say a comment, yeah, but don't have nothing to back it up with, So United fans saying Premier League trophies and putting the laughing face. So again, you know what I mean? This is why I enjoy it, because I like to see people's opinions, but I like to see why they think certain things. And as I said, it's just a lot of votes, but not saying why that player is better. But it is what it is, man. It's what it's about. Right, guys, let me know your questions and your comments, and then before we wrap up, let me know why you think Ronaldo's better than Messi, or why you think Messi's better than Ronaldo. 25 votes, 60% to Ronaldo, 40% to Messi. How old are Messi and Ronaldo right now, actually? I think Ronaldo's almost 40. Messi, I believe, might be, 30? Is Messi, 36, 37? I think he might be 36 or 37. So if Ronaldo reaches 1,000 goals, would you say he's one of the top goal scorers ever? But that'd be obvious, wouldn't it? I mean, but United fan, again, you've made a lot of comments, yeah? But tell me why you think Ronaldo's better than... So tell me what you think Ronaldo's better than Messi at from a footballing point of view. So what does Ronaldo do better than Messi as a footballer? Because again, I know you rate Ronaldo over Messi, but the only thing I've seen you mention is either goals or trophies. Now, we've already established that Messi's got more trophies in him. We've already established that goals and assists, Messi beats him in that as well. So, as a footballer, tell me what you think Ronaldo does better than Messi as a footballer. That's what I want to find out. Or if anyone else can tell me as well, that's watching the channel. Let me know what you think before we wrap up. 'Guys, make sure you're voting as well if you haven't done so already. 58% to 42% now. Yeah, big up to Nick. So some of these people don't even realize Gav is a United fan. His opinion is unbiased. But Nick, the problem is I'm not just a Man United fan. I'm a football fan. Like I've got experience in football. So again, you're never gonna get me just saying nonsense. Like I always have reasons for why I say things. I think a lot of people just say stuff, and then when they get challenged or when they get debated, there's not really nothing coming back. And this is the problem, you know. So again, your opinion will never get suppressed, but it just shows me really that it's just words or just saying stuff for saying stuff's sake, you know. United fan says, I didn't grow up to watch his whole career, to be honest, to be fair. But I'd say Cristiano has better IQ. And that's when we move on, guys. So, yeah, listen, United fan, man, at least you're honest in saying you didn't watch his whole career. But then you lost me when you said he's got better IQ. So let's just move on from that one. Because, yeah, I don't know where you're going with that. If it's a question of purely on the pitch, there isn't really a debate. If you've actually watched them play, clips and highlights aren't enough. There we go. Yeah, there we go. But the fact that we're not getting no one saying why they think Ronaldo's better, it tells you everything, really. You know, and this is the thing. Like it tells you everything. Guys, if you haven't voted, make sure you do. There's 27 votes so far. 56% say Ronaldo, 44% say Messi. And as I said, from those 56%, you know, I still haven't seen no one tell me why Ronaldo's a better player than Messi. I haven't seen it. So it is what it is, man. It's a good debate, as I said, but it's a debate really that, you know, it really deserves a lot of high level, I would say, conversations, because a lot of what I've seen in the chat, you know, it's just comments for comments' sake, you know, and it is what it is, man. But guys, listen up. Big up yourselves for coming on. You know, as I said, man, I thought I'd do something a bit different, you know, Messi and Ronaldo. Because I thought Champions League, you know, and again, Champions League is yeah, Champions League is one of them things where, you know, Ronaldo and Messi have dominated for so long. Yeah, to see them not in it now is crazy. But again, we're into a new era now. Messi and Ronaldo obviously nearing the end of their careers, and what careers it's had, what careers they've had. So yeah, literally, it's just mad to think that there's Champions League football and not one of them are in it no more. So is what it is. Are you gonna do today's Champions League night watch along? If yes, which one? Not tonight. I got boxing tonight. Obviously, I got a fight coming up in December, 6th of December. So I got training tonight, so I can't do one Champions League watch along tonight. And then I got training tomorrow as well. So I think watch alongs for Champions League this week is not going to happen. But yeah, I will definitely be doing watch alongs again, no doubt. But yeah, nah, today and tomorrow, not possible. But again, as always, I'll try and give you guys some content um, every day if when I can. So, but no, guys, listen, big up yourselves for coming on. Uh, that's a good one, Cantona and Burkamp, and you, you know what, that is difficult, yeah. But the best way I would answer that question is who had the bigger impact or who was the better player. The bigger impact for me was Cantona. The better player was probably Burkamp. And again, that's nothing to say that Cantona wasn't a top player because he was. But if we're comparing impact and we're comparing the better player, I'd say Cantona had the better impact for what he done for United. But Burkamp was probably just the better player. But again, I wouldn't argue the other way around, you know. So it is what it is. What it is. So who do you think the next big rivalry would be? To be honest with you, yeah, that's a good question, United fan. I think in terms of the left foot, right foot, I mean, you have to say Erling Haaland and Mbappe. And again, that isn't based on quality for me. That's more based on numbers. Because if you look at this season, Harry Kane, Mbappe, and Haaland are going head to head for numbers. The reason, because Harry Kane's a better footballer out of all three of them, but because Harry Kane's in his 30s, you probably just put that to the side. But if we're looking at the next big rivalry being left-footed, right-footed, you might say Haaland versus Mbappe, but I'm more looking at Yamal, and then who can I say is the right-footed version of Yamal of that age? I think people are saying Desiree Doué. I don't know, but it's hard to say. Really, it's hard to say because if I'm looking at forwards, Messi and Ronaldo, again, they were both forwards. Um, Mbappe and Haaland. I know Mbappe is a left winger, but for Real Madrid, he's playing through the middle, so you can compare them two. But if I'm looking at Yamal, I don't know who the direct rival to Yamal is. That's a right footer playing in a similar position. As I said, there is talk about Doué, but I can't really see anyone else really. So it's hard to say, man. It's hard to say, but I think the Messi and Ronaldo rivalry, I can't really see that happening again consistently. I can't. But it'd be good if it did, but who knows, man? Who knows? Um, yeah, big up United fan. Listen, you know what it is, yeah. It's about it's about having your own opinion. But what I like to do, yeah, is just give a difference of a different angle because I don't think it's enough for people to just say you think that player's better and have nothing to back it up with, because this is the problem with debate. You know, it is about opinion, but a lot of opinions you see this day and age are just nonsense because people just say stuff because whether they've been told it, um, or whether they're influenced by the media or by pundits, not because they've got their own mind. You know what I mean? So, as I said, I'm someone that studies football. I'm someone that's football's been my life. So when I say certain things, I've always got a reason for why I say certain things, and I can back up what I'm saying. So, again, if I've changed your opinion, um, then fair enough. You know what I mean? But again, it's about giving a different angle for people to understand, you know. And as I said, once I get 10 plus members, I'm going to be doing a members Q&A. So, and again, this will be a good one because it's another understanding about positions in football, you know. So yeah, once I get the 10 plus members. So again, guys, make sure you become a member on the channel. So I will be doing a live Q&A for members only. So yeah, make sure you guys do end up becoming a member. Because yeah, there's some good things that's going to be happening. There's some good posts up in there as well, which you guys will be probably surprised at, or maybe you won't be. I don't know. But so yeah. Once you guys become a member, then we get 10 members in there. Then again, I'll be doing a live Q&A, and I'll be doing a live fan call-in as well. So yeah, there's some big things coming up. Also, some boxing training. I'm going to be putting that for members only as well. So, yeah, there's some good things coming up, man. So keep an eye on that. But, guys, big up yourselves for coming on each and every time. Smash the like button on the way out. And make sure you sub to the channel if you're new in there as well. And I'm possibly going to catch you guys tomorrow. Take it easy.